Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Telit webinar, Leverage the IoT Edge with Big Data Analytic Integration. I'm Lindsay Kelly, VP of Digital and Content Marketing here at Telit, and I will be your moderator for today's event. So before we start, we'd like to gauge an idea of how familiar you all are with integrating IoT Edge data to enterprise systems. So I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll to everyone. If you could please take just a moment, take a look at that and complete it for us. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick introduction of our speaker today. I'm pleased to be joined by Telit's Jim Wirt. Jim has been Telit's CTO since 2019. He has held leadership positions in a number of standards bodies and other technical forums across the industry. He's currently the vice chair of TIA's TR50 Smart Device Communication Standard and a member of I2G Working Group. Just before, I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out now. All righty. And before I hand it over to Jim for the presentation, I just wanted to call a few things out to everyone here attending today. I would like to encourage you guys to please interact with us by posting questions. We'll have time to answer some of those at the end of the presentation. So simply go ahead and submit a question by posting it in the box to the right of the slides. You'll also see there a tab with some of our related resources. So please take a moment to look at those and familiarize yourself with where you can ask those questions. So finally, we will be sending out the presentation slides and a replay link to everyone in attendance today. So that will come at the conclusion of the webinar. And with that, Jim, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. So hello, everybody. We're going to talk a little bit today about IoT, the Edge, and analytics. So little overview on Telit. So with 62 billion devices connected by 2023, Telit's helping connect one of these devices about every 1.3 seconds. So it's it's pretty impressive the rate that everything's growing. So let's start a little bit about talking about analytics and where we are in the infamous hype curve. So when we look at where we are today, analytics is a huge topic. It covers many different technologies and strategies and business needs. But when we look at IoT, primarily we look a lot at edge analytics and embedded analytics and how it can be applied. And you can see that those two highlighted on my chart here are still pretty high at the top of the hype curve, and we haven't entered the trough of disillusionment yet. So there's a lot of excitement there. There's a lot of possibilities that can be done. People are trying everything, but in reality, it is going to come crashing down a bit before we really hit the valuable use cases and grow into the next phase and the plateau of productivity as we build out the analytics solutions around IoT. To talk about one part of analytics, which is machine learning, even within that space, we see a huge number of different technologies, different methodologies, whether it's unsupervised, supervised, or reinforcement learning, that can all be applied to different use cases that you may encounter in the market. And further, this is a market that's a very crowded space. So when we talk about analytics, it's very hard when customers ask us what we have for analytics embedded in our technology. We are very careful what we say we can do and what we can't. We are a company that believes in partnerships and alliances with many different players in the market, because the reality is each of these vendors has something unique depending on the vertical industry, the technology, the type of analysis desired to be done. So it would be very difficult for Telit to say, yes, we have integrated analytics in our platform. Instead, what I'd say is we are one of the ultimate data delivery platforms, helping you enable your own analytics in the technology of your choosing. And so if we talk about kind of two different use cases, One is in IoT is around device management and analyzing your fleet of devices to make sure that they are operating in a peak performance scenario. It's all about how to optimize the deployment, optimize your costs, optimize your truck rolls. How do you analyze not only the data from your devices, but from your connectivity providers, so your network operators, as well as the cloud services that you use. This is not about instrumenting your sensor data. This is about really looking at how your devices perform in the field. Do you have a device? Can you use analytics tools to predict device failure by analyzing the slope of the curve on battery consumption? Oh, we see that this device is behaving inappropriately. It's burning down its battery. We need to go and dispatch a worker now as part of a predictive maintenance program to fix it before it actually just goes dark on us. So this is the kind of introverted way side of analytics and IoT and looking at your own deployment. And then there's the application and sensor analytics, which is more focused on how you analyze your actual business data so that you can go and provide more value to the customers in whatever vertical you may be in. You're a fleet tracking company. Maybe you're trying to analyze fuel consumption and optimize truck routes or stops or the like. You're a supply replenishment company. You want to make sure that your customers don't run out of whatever product you may be supplying. There are many use cases, and in all these, analytics, whether at the edge or in the cloud, can be a vital component of a healthy solution. So let's now talk about where Telit fits into this ecosystem, and it starts with our Telit One Edge program. Our One Edge program has the moniker IoT success starts with the first mile. And this is what we truly believe. You have the assets at both ends of this picture, whether it's whatever kind of device you may use and whatever types of application or servers you're trying to integrate to. And what Telit seeks to do is to provide that glue in the middle to make it as easy as possible to deliver a production grade, highly scalable, highly secure solution. So our One Edge platform has been recognized in the industry as one of the best IoT platforms on the market. We've received numerous rewards in awards, and it's all about helping customers shorten that path to IoT monetization. And so let's talk a little bit about the pillars that make up One Edge. So one part of it is device management. So this is a zero-touch onboarding, being able to have remote provisioning and configuration, monitoring and troubleshooting, all the software update management, whether it's the cellular radio or the application, being able to actually manage that device and eliminate costly truck rolls. I think today the current moniker is that a truck roll costs about $300. Edge intelligence. So this is where the analytics power starts coming in. Not only do we have the device management piece, we have various agents and environments available at the edge to assist you with building high value applications that can take advantage of all the processing power that you have in your device and offload some of the traffic from the network as well as from the cloud. Security. IoT 10 years ago security wasn't a big focus. People were talking about reading meters on electrical boxes or reading a tank level remotely. Now there's so much bidirectional communication, so many control paths. It's extremely important to have a highly secure solution, and we take that to an extreme where our secrets are embedded in the device at the time it's manufactured, and those credentials are managed in an extremely secure way to prevent any kind of leakage. In addition, we also have the connectivity service and the management of your SIMs. So this can be as simple as getting your connectivity from Telit. We're a global operator. We can provide you SIMs for almost any region of the world. This all gives you a nice single pane of glass to use, whether you're managing your devices, your SIMs, or any of your application links. So this connectivity management is very important because it's how you start blending and getting into the more powerful analytics is how you can start combining different stories. Maybe I know that my ability to operate on one carrier is better or worse for a particular device, and this can all be managed through our connectivity services. And then we have our enterprise integration, and this is really one of the hallmarks of our platform is we have the ability to integrate to almost any enterprise IT system. From simple SQL databases and NoSQL databases, the big messaging systems, up through the major cloud platforms, whether it be AWS or Azure or GCP. This enterprise integration is really the heart of our program for being able to enable you to do your own analytics. Why do customers pick OneEdge? They pick OneEdge because it is a ready-to-use solution out of the box. You simply buy it and configure it. Yes, everything that we do, it's just software. You can go and find pieces and parts. If you look at it, if you break it into all of its components, you can go out and find open source components that can solve some of the functions. But you really have to ask yourself, is this what you want to focus your business on? Or do you want a vendor to go and actually help you deploy a solution leveraging all of our years of knowledge in this space and avoiding all the hidden pitfalls that you may not see going into this project? So when we talk about the bridge, again, this is another way to look at the same story. I have my devices on the left, I have my enterprise systems on the right, and then I have Telit in between. We bring in that data in a structured format. We do the device management, the data delivery, the connectivity management, and then we go and feed it into the cloud system so that you can integrate into the rest of your applications. As a simple example here, we have a customer who has a very straightforward IoT application monitoring floor cleaning machines. Very, very typical IoT use case. The mobile application that they deliver to developers, it actually sources data from 7 different sources. It grabs data from their CRM system. It grabs data from their material replenishment system. It grabs data from their customer support system. And it grabs data from their telemetry system. Now, we happen to be the source of the telemetry data coming through the IoT path, but they need to integrate all of that data to actually tell the customer the story they want to tell. So it's always important to know where you fit in the world. And IoT is extremely important, but it's one ingestion point into an enterprise architecture and design. It's not the center of the world. When we talk about edge intelligence, we talk about having software that makes it extremely easy to build rich applications. From a connection optimizer that helps bridge and manage that cellular connection from the device to the cloud, the lightweight M2M link, which is so important these days for efficient communications from IoT devices, especially IoT devices in the lower categories of LTE, whether it be Cat 1, Cat M, narrowband IoT. And then all of the embedded APIs, making it extremely easy to build those rich edge applications to massage the data at the edge before sending it to the cloud. An important note on lightweight M2M, because we talk about it a lot these days. Lightweight M2M has a lot of efficiencies. There's a recent report from Mock Nation that shows that lightweight M2M uses something like 70% less data in a typical session with a device. This is extremely important when we try to look at building a large-scale IoT solution. So reducing your data plan. If we look at a typical use case, let's assume conservative that we're talking about a 50% savings. Then on a deployment of 25,000 units, that could be $720,000 in annual savings. And leveraging the platform's ability to proxy that information into Azure and AWS IoT, it is a powerful onboarding tool because those tools natively today use MQTT or AMQP, which is extremely pervasive today, but it really is not efficient enough for today's low bandwidth solutions. When we talk about the power of edge processing, it's also very important to talk about our AppZone framework. So this is an embedded toolkit that enables you to write software and put it directly on our module, allowing you to create what we call hostless solutions, where you don't necessarily need an application processor. You can run everything directly off the Telit module. So with our APIs and our environment, you can very quickly build out very robust edge applications that can access not only the modem, but also all of the integrated sensors in your device. Transitioning a little bit into the cloud, we'll talk about our AppCenter. This is where we deliver a variety of applications that use the device management data we're collecting to either display and let you control your devices, or also to perform certain types of analytics. So one of our applications is our One Edge Device Management application. And this tool lets you very quickly dissect your deployment of IoT assets and try to find inefficiencies and ways that you can improve the quality of your deployment. So if we look at, here's an example of our Insights page. This uses an analytics engine in the background. We leverage this to help customers analyze the performance of their roaming operators. In the pages we're actually looking at here, we break down your network performance by country and your signal, your RSSI per country, as well as your RSSI per operator, and allow you full abilities to search and dissect and filter that data. So you can see, hey, maybe in France, I'm roaming on a particular operator that's not performing as well as some other operator. I'm going to negotiate with my SIM provider to get a new roaming profile that steers me towards the better connectivity. Empowering customers with this type of data is what helps them make better business decisions and have a higher quality IoT deployment. This is IoT analytics. But this is the IoT analytics you don't want to know. Let us worry about these types of reports and this type of data. We gather this, we have it in the background. We're not only comparing you to yourselves, we're able to blend in the data from across our deployments to help enable you to make better business decisions. And know that, well, we've built an amazing platform. If we look under the hood a little bit, we're built on top of industry-leading technology to help us go and offer and provide the best of analytics solutions and the best tools for you to scale and build out. So we heavily use MongoDB. Oh, I think I lost my slide. So I have lost my slide.
Yes, Jim, I think unfortunately we may have lost connection to slides. I don't see them either, so it's not just you.
So
do you want to go ahead and maybe, I think a couple of questions might have popped in relevant to One Edge. Do you want to cover those while I see if I can get your slides back for you?
Yeah, let me take a peek at the questions that have come in. Now, actually, I'm also not seeing any new questions in the inbox. Okay, let me, so one of the questions that came in was, what technologies is One Edge utilizing to optimize the quality of service in IoT? And how does this impact latency sensitive applications? So it's a good question. One Edge heavily leverages lightweight M2M, which is based on CoAP, which uses UDP. Now, immediately when I say UDP, everybody says, "Oh boy, UDP. There's no quality of service there." But CoAP brings that layer in. So with CoAP, we get acknowledgments, we get guaranteed delivery, we get retries. So we actually do get a very high level of quality of service within the lightweight M2M stack. On top of that, we have the concept of retransmissions and queuing to ensure that if the device is asleep, the messages are held until the device checks in the next time. This is also extremely important because in IoT, it's not like many other technologies. The devices will sleep for long periods of time. So your expectations that you can always send messages to a device is dependent on the solution architecture. So this is extremely important. How you can use One Edge in a high QoS environment. As it relates to latency, this is really a function of the network and the platform. So the network, the platform operates in near real time. So it can typically process an event coming from a device and send it out the other side in around 25 milliseconds. The big hop is that if you're using narrowband or Cat-M LTE solutions, the connectivity, the latency of the link can be fairly slow. So you do have to design your applications and know what type of cellular module you wish to use based on your desired use case. This is also why we still see a number of IoT use cases using Category 1 LTE today, because it does have a better performance envelope.
Great, thanks, Jim. I think that we're good with our slides now, so why don't you go ahead and pick up where you left off.
Okay, so I'm still not seeing the slides, but I'm now, I think maybe it's on the Devicewise header one.
Yes, it seems as if we're on the Devicewise header one, and the audience can see it.
Okay, so when we talk about the Devicewise is one of the other software assets in the Telit portfolio. And what this is a very powerful edge agent that allows us to integrate data from the industrial IoT space into these same IT and business systems. We have relationships and connectors to all the major industrial vendors, whether it's Rockwell Automation, Mitsubishi Electric, Siemens, ABB, Bosch. It's a collection now of somewhere around 75 different proprietary drivers. Very few of these are based on standards. Most of these are the proprietary communications protocols supported by the individual device makers. And we provide that rich edge environment for being able to bring that data into the cloud, into your end system. So when we look a little bit deeper, we have the pieces to access that data. Not only can we send this industrial information to our platform, we can also send it directly to the cloud platforms from Azure, AWS, GCP, again, the entire suite directly from that edge asset. also, we don't have, in the manufacturing space, there are many solutions where it's extremely important that data not leave the network. And so in those cases, we have the ability to directly communicate within the factory and communicate with different IT systems, different databases. We can do private instances of our IoT portal to really facilitate those highly secure industrial IoT use cases. Again, to reiterate that it's one platform with endless solutions. There are many different ways it can be packaged together, and it's not a mutually exclusive choice. You can combine many different technologies into one solution. So maybe some of your data is going into a IBM maintenance system. Another set of data needs to go to AWS for your next generation analytics project. And even more needs to go to a HMI system to display some factory dashboards so that the shop managers know how their production is running today. So, as we build out the stack, we can really see how we have all this pervasive computing power as we build up to a full suite of solutions. And again, one final view on the Devicewise stack is a way to look at it in its layers. So there's the gateway, and again, this is a no-code environment. There's no scripting. There's no there's drag and drop function blocks where you link your input data from the industrial controls. This is a picture of a Siemens S7300 PLC, and then you map that data to your IT system. It's an extremely powerful tool. It's available in numerous embedded platforms. It's also available in an enterprise distribution for large server systems. So whether you're a machine builder trying to gather information from your deployed assets or a entire automotive factory trying to visualize and analyze your entire plant, this solution can work for you. So when we look at the data integration patterns, this is really, I think, what something that's important to talk about. There are several ways that you can use a technology like ours. The first model is where you have your devices, and the devices communicate with our platform, and you utilize our device analytics and you utilize our tools, and you live kind of within our world. This is nice. It works well for many customers, but what we see a lot is then customers want to create that next link, which says, okay, I now want to take that data and I want to feed it through to the IT system so that I can now do my data delivery and analyze the data coming from my assets. And again, we work with so many different partners because each of them has different unique traits and benefits in their approach to the market. The next model builds on the same story where we're collecting the device management data. There may be some link from our platform to the upstream platform to feed some device metadata. But at the end of the day, there's a link from the device directly to the cloud, enabling that direct communication. And this is kind of more popular when you have a powerful client library from a analytics vendor that's doing, let's say, kind of the fog computing strategy where there's some logic running at the edge, some in the cloud. Then maybe you're using one edge as your or the Devicewise gateway technology as your device management solution, but you're taking your analytics data direct. And this is a very common model that we see. And then, lastly, we have the customers who try to live by existing solely without a device management platform and trying to leverage the services of the cloud providers directly. And when we dig in on that, what we see is that, it's great if you say, hey, I can go it on my own. I don't need a vendor. But let's talk a little bit about why people want it. The efficiency of lightweight M2M is a amazing no-brainer value if you're in a low category market. The embedded intelligence, the embedded performance is all there if you're using a platform like OneEdge. When going directly to the cloud, you gain the ability of maybe being able to use the SDK available directly from the cloud provider, but you now pick up all those inefficiencies and the fact that, to be honest, the cloud providers today, they're not talking cellular. They're really designing solutions today for wired and Wi-Fi based environments. Now, that being said, well, I think I went ahead one too much. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing with Microsoft. So with Microsoft, we're really trying to embed our technology and Microsoft's technology in a deeper relationship to foster some of those bigger analytics and value use cases. So you actually can find today, if you go to the IoT device catalog, you'll see several Telit modules. I can tell you there's going to be more coming over the course of the summer as we get through the certification process. And as we build out this relationship, what this means is, first of all, as a device maker, you can incorporate our modules and you can rapidly then onboard your own devices into the Azure IoT ecosystem, into the Azure IoT device catalog. It also means that if you're just trying to use it and integrate, we provide a very nice out-of-the-box experience. Similarly, we also have the direct integration with our factory gateway. So again, if you're using our IoT platform or not, the important thing here is that we also enable that direct link to Azure. So if you're trying to get sensor data from industrial controllers, from CNC machines, from almost anything in the industrial workspace, and trying to get it up into Azure IoT, we have an amazing solution for that as well. And lastly, to not leave out the IoT portal, the Telit IoT portal, we're currently working to actually embed it as in the Azure marketplace so that you can actually launch your own private instance of the Azure IoT portal, or of the Telit IoT portal in your Azure tenant. And what this will allow you to do is, again, in these environments where you're nervous about the chain of custody of your data, you're nervous about having data flow from your data center, from your devices to Telit and back again, we provide now the tool so that you can have a private device management solution in your own space, manage it yourself, and build it out from there. And so as we try to bring it all together, I think it's important to talk a little bit about how IoT solutions can. Oh, hold on one second. I lost the slides again. Boy.
I think your audience is still seeing.
Okay, yeah, audience is seeing them?
Yeah, I think the audience is good.
Just me. Perfect.
Yep, so it's bringing it all together is what I've got.
Okay, bringing it all together. Give me one. Okay, bring it all together. So look, whether you're trying to bring together the simplest statistical analysis to the most complex artificial intelligence or machine learning algorithms, these will transform your business from a reactionary model to a proactive model. There are many use cases that everybody hears today. Let's say everybody knows the video applications today, whether it's simple license plate reading, object identification, face recognition. Those are all AI at the edge. But there's also many cases coming of doing discrete sensor analysis at the edge as well. So, and the businesses who don't evolve and don't move to utilize these tools are going to find themselves in a race where they can't win, because the power that I've seen in real analytics applications in IoT really are astounding. How much business value companies can derive. In my request to the group is focus on your business. Don't try to be an expert in device management. Don't try to be an expert in cellular solutions. Don't try to learn how to analyze all the device management glorp that's out there. Focus on your application and your solutions, and leave the device management and the analysis of your device data, your device management data, to a partner such as Telit. If you're interested in IIoT, it is a very big focal point for our company. I do encourage you to reach out to us. We really have the best-in-class solution in this space. From an IIoT perspective, we have all of the tools and capabilities to get to almost any industrial asset. I know I have repeated myself several times on this, because I'm trying to reinforce the quality of our solution when it comes to integrating device data. So, I really believe that we have a amazing analytics solution at the edge, and we can really help power your business moving forward. And so, with that, I'm going to kind of end where I began, that IoT success starts with the first mile. You're going to struggle to be successful if you can't get your devices reliably connected and communicating. And that's something that Telit can help you with, and can take all of the risk and fear and the FUD out of your decision-making process. So I encourage you all, reach out, and we'd love to hear about your solutions and challenges. We have knowledgeable experts who can help you in every phase of your IoT deployment. So with that, I will turn the reins back over to Lindsay.
Thank you so much, Jim. And while I'm wrapping us up here, go ahead and take a look. A lot of great questions have come in from our audience today. Have a look through some of those, and let's see how many we can get to. And thank you to the audience for sticking with us for a couple of glitches there. We appreciate it. But before we move into that Q&A, I'm going to drop one more poll. And I would like to see if anyone here would like a little bit more information. We can have a team member reach out to you directly if you have specific questions that we might not even be able to get to today. So I'm going to leave this up for just a moment while we let Jim go into some questions here, because we've got some really nice ones. There's still time to ask the questions, so please continue to submit those questions. Again, the box is to the right of your slides, of your screen. And we're going to do our best to cover as many as we can. So Jim, take it away.
Okay, so we got a lot of great questions. So I'm going to start with one. Can we manage connectivity with local telco operators in any region? So any is a big word. What I'll say is we support managing Telit connectivity, and we also support bring your own SIM. We have several partnerships with the major connectivity device platforms. So if you have connectivity with a telco who utilizes the Jasper platform or the Ericsson DCP platform, we can absolutely integrate your own SIMs with our platform to give you that blended view. We also have many one-off implementations. So we have Vodafone GDSP, we have Verizon ThingSpace, we have T-Mobile, we have a wide variety of other, let's say, proprietary connectors for individual operators that also support a bring your own SIM model. And if there's another one you need, we have a framework. We've integrated, as you can tell, we've integrated a large number of operators, so we continue to integrate more over time. Next question, is OneEdge a subscription or is it part of the modem price? It is a subscription. We recognize it as products, especially the low category parts, get cheaper and cheaper in price. It's becoming more and more aggressive for how to price an IoT solution. So I don't want to go into the exact pricing, but we have bundles of the module with the OneEdge platform. We are coming out with connectivity plus platform bundles. So we have a wide variety of pricing models available. It's designed to be a very nominal charge for the device management, and there are different plans available depending on if you're trying to do only device management versus device management with data delivery. Obviously, we have use cases of customers sending multiple data transmissions every second, and we have use cases where devices check in a couple of times per day. So there's a variety of pricing options depending on your planned utilization. Okay, so are Devicewise and OneEdge the same? So Devicewise and OneEdge share a lot of technology, but what I'll say the OneEdge-enabled modules leverage lightweight M2M for that efficient communications and the device management capabilities that work in the very small embedded devices. The Devicewise Factory Gateway product is a larger piece of software that can be installed on a variety of devices. It uses the TIA TR50 smart device protocol, and it's expecting to consume more bandwidth, but it has far more data delivery capabilities because of that improved transport that it has access to. Okay, question. Not clear how lightweight M2M is cheaper than MQTT for the same device. So if you just stack it side by side, same device, same use case. If I'm trying to do something with MQTT and I try to transmit that same data with lightweight M2M, you will generally find that the lightweight M2M transport uses between 50 and 70% less data. Now you ask why? It's because the lightweight M2M sits with DTLS and CoAP on top of UDP. MQTT sits with TLS on top of generally some JSON encoding, sitting on top of MQTT, the MQTT frames on top of TCP. And this means that it's inherently more inefficient because it wasn't optimized for this space. Lightweight M2M as an application protocol was designed to not transmit the metadata. Both ends, the client and the server, are aware of the objects. And so only a very small amount of metadata has to be communicated. You could say it's somewhat similar to MQTT-SN, but even MQTT-SN suffers from the same TCP overheads and the expectations of connectivity, where the lightweight M2M connections are able to survive very long dormant periods with a very efficient session resumption. I apologize if I got a little overly technical in that response, but it's been a deep study of mine how efficient it can be. The easy question, is the platform available in Mexico? Absolutely, it is. We actually we have a number of large customers in Mexico delivering various kinds of IoT applications. The best way to figure out if it works for you and would be to contact our local sales reps. If you get in touch with us after this webinar, we can happily get you in touch with the right people to see how to proceed. Very good question on EDRX. So does your stack support EDRX for a more reactive network to device control? And the answer is yes. This has been one of the areas where we really believe we're strong. Yes, I can take a Raspberry Pi, I can put a lightweight M2M stack on it, I can connect it to a modem from any vendor and get connected. But when you're doing that, you have very little control over the details of exactly how the modem is operating and behaving. By leveraging OneEdge, we have that tight control with our connection agent and the lightweight M2M stack to balance the lightweight M2M communications with the PSM and EDRX modes to make sure that we really have a extremely efficient communications that's both, let's say, gentle on the network as well as highly optimized on the device. Devicewise question, I'll say, we have a wide variety of drivers beyond, let's say, the large-scale industrial controllers and kind of the PLCs. We also have very wide support for other sensor types, whether it be temperature sensors, vibration sensors, sensors connected over various wireless networks, proprietary and open standard, barcode readers, RFID readers. We have a very wide connectivity portfolio. So again, I encourage you, you can actually check out the website at docs.devicewise.com if you want to see more samples of exactly what devices can be communicated with. Okay, another question. Does OneEdge support Cat1 and Cat3 LTE modems the same as Cat-M and narrowband? The answer is yes, it's coming. We are in the process of releasing OneEdge on our Cat1/Cat4 modules. That would be the LE910 C1 and C4 family of products. So I don't know the exact timing of that release, but I do know it's imminent. So we have our ME910 series, our ME310 in 865, and then we also have our LE910 C1 and C4 that all have OneEdge today. Let me browse the questions.
And while you're doing that, I'm just going to give folks one more chance here to go ahead and answer that poll for us if you would like for us to reach out after this, especially if Jim's not able to get to a question that you had. We can have a specialist reach out to you. So I'm going to give folks just to the end of this next question, and then I'll go ahead and close that out.
Okay, so a couple more questions. So one, a Devicewise question. If I have a protocol that's not in our portfolio today, what are my options? So we have two options today. One, there is a publicly available SDK that you can download, and you can basically develop your own, what we call a driver, which is effectively a shared library that gets loaded into our agent. If you are not a comfortable development house, we also have the professional services group that's able to develop that driver on your behalf if you're so desire. Another question: how can I have the IoT Portal as a in-premise solution? So it's a good question. I would encourage you to talk with us. We have several of the different ways we can deliver a private instance today. We can deliver a private instance through a container-based deployment for kind of small and medium deployments, all the way up through carrier-grade deployments. We have the Telit IoT Portal is the device management platform for several large MNOs around the world.
All right, very good. So that was a lot of questions, and I know there's a lot more. Jim, do you want to pick one last one, and then we'll call it a day?
Okay, let me see if I can find a good one.
There's a lot of good ones in here. Very
yeah, I mean, I could keep talking for a couple hours. Wow, a lot of very technical ones. There's some people here. You need to email me. If you have a lot of questions, if you asked a lot of questions, send me emails. I will happily answer everything you need to, you want to talk about.
Your email address so that they can reach out to you?
Yeah. So if somebody can put in the chat, anybody, everybody on here is welcome to reach out to me at jim.wirt@telit.com. I'll happily answer what I can and get you in touch with the right people. Okay, so final question: is it possible to use the Telit platform to store a large amount of data and then process it on Microsoft Azure? Absolutely. We've been talking a lot about data delivery. We also have a data at rest infrastructure as part of our platform. Now, I'm careful to say it's a data store. It is not the native database that you can use to do, let's say, heavy analytics, but it is extremely robust, extremely scalable, and it can facilitate accumulating data from your devices and then feeding that data either in real time or in batch to your enterprise system of choice, whether it's a service in Azure. We've done a lot of integration with Azure Data Lake and Cosmos and Azure SQL and the like, as well as on the AWS front services like Kinesis and DynamoDB. So we have a lot of ways to do the integration depending on your business need. I think that does it for me.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you everyone for the questions. We will make sure that we get as many answered individually after this as we possibly can. We want to thank everybody for joining us today, and thank you, Jim, for the wonderful information and advice. Folks, be sure to check your inbox. We'll make sure we get you the slides as well as a replay link for this webinar from today. And everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you again.